Yeah, so what's going on there, guys? What's up? My name is Paul. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Attention Deficit Disorder. Say what's up. Yeah, basically, this video is going to be interesting. It's probably going to turn into some kind of rant. I'm going to try my best to not. I'm probably not going to do a very good job at it, because, like I said, I want to talk about farming. I want to talk about the loot system. I want to talk about how I think Destiny really hurt itself by removing farming, and how they're changing the game is really going to hurt themselves. And I think that they don't have much of a choice to actually turn it back. And not only that, is I encourage them to do it. But above all, I want to educate people. A lot of people do not know what farming is. A lot of people said it was boosting, it was exploiting, and people do not understand that for games like this, MMOs, ARPGs, so on and so forth, that not only is this an acceptable form of playing the game, it's also encouraged by a lot of developers. Past the point where you're playing Diablo, which is the game that's probably really close to this game in terms of genre, you beat the campaign, 10 hours is gone. 100% after that is entirely farming. The quickest and fastest routes to kill the most creatures to get the best drops. That's what farming is. That's what the loot cave was. Try to optimize, get the best results quickest. My God, it was beautiful. That was the prettiest hole I ever put my eyes on. I love that cave, and I miss it. I truly miss it. And I think they really hurt themselves by removing all of those farming methods, and they effectively removed the farming from this game. Now, what made this game so attractive and so appealing to me is the fact that it did three things. They basically combined three genres of games, or three major aspects of games, and put them all together. Borderlands was great for the free roam, the adventures, the quests, the gear. You got the PvE aspect of that when you do strikes, missions, patrols, so on and so forth, bounties. Then you take the farming gear, which is the best aspect of something like Diablo. That's an entire game standalone that's basically a farming simulator. Then you take the things like Halo, where you get the multiplayer and Crucible and the PvP. You put that together, and you have three major things in one awesome package, and that's what Destiny is, and that's why it's one of the best games I've ever played. They just removed one of those, leaving it only two left. And above all, they took away my favorite one. Now, the reason I loved farming so much is because I love doing strikes, I love doing Vault of Glass, and I'm going to do those every week. But sometimes, when my bounties are gone and I just have an extra hour or two I want to spend, maybe I want to unwind before bed and watch a little Netflix. Farming has always been a good thing because you could just sit down and watch a movie. It doesn't require crazy thinking, it's just casual. You don't have to fight heavy creatures, you don't have to be so involved in cutscenes and moving about. It was just a simple way to play the game. Removing that, I think, is really going to hurt. And above all, their solution to it, I think, is kind of back-assward. So they're going to remove farming, but they're going to add increased drops to strikes and missions and Crucible and stuff like that. Now, why I think this is just absolutely absurd is, no matter what's going to happen right here, is it's just pure repetition. Either A, I spend an hour of sitting at a cave shooting it or B, I'm going to spend an hour doing 4 strikes in a row. No matter what happens, you're doing the same shit over and over and over again. How it's done doesn't matter. We're not there to fight creatures. We're not there to push ourselves. It's not going on our resume. It's not super secret service business. We're there to get loot. Now, with that being said, farming was not harmful to anyone. And the people that are saying that this is pretty much like boosting, you just don't know what you're talking about. And I forgive you for that. And that is simply because these types of games have not really been on console for a long time. You guys are not exposed to these types of games quite yet. PC players are. We're used to MMOs and ARPGs and stuff like that. We're used to these elements. Now, it wasn't until just recently that Diablo and games like this have come over this way, and then they've become a part of the console experience. Now, next gen actually allows that to be a more popular thing. MOBAs and stuff are coming over now. So, I understand why you would think that's boosting. Boosting in Call of Duty was not a problem. The way I look at it, campers are more dangerous to a team than boosters are. Take boosters. Boosters were two guys that would sit off on the edge of the map and shoot each other. Whatever those guys do over on the edge of the map is their business. Elope, touch each other. I don't care what they're doing. You're both players are a man down. It's a 5v5. Wasn't that harmful. A camper is in the back of the map doing very little for the team, not helping on any objectives. They're more dangerous than that. So when somebody says boosting was a problem in Call of Duty because when people boosted, the problem wasn't the fact that they were trying to get the headshots and they were off on their own, and that was not a problem. Nobody cared about that. The problem was they were building streaks and it was ruining the game for other people's. The thing with farming in Destiny is it doesn't hurt anyone else. And above all, I cannot emphasize hard enough, is it was publicly out there. It was exposed. Everyone knew of it. You either chose to do it or you didn't do it. People were like, it's too boring. I don't want to do it. Don't do it. But I want the rewards. Then do it. I mean, there are tons of things where you just got to find out if it's worth it for you to not do it. But the thing is, it was available for anyone. It wasn't game-breaking. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't harmful. Didn't hurt anyone. So why remove it? Let alone, why bitch about it if it doesn't hurt anyone? Now, we're going to move on over to the other thing. Alongside with the fact that they're going to start increasing the legendary drops and everything like that, I want to just sit here and tell you guys, I think they had it right at launch. I think the fact that I could farm at the loot cave for 3 or 4 hours and get, you know, a couple legendary Ingrams, but then only one of them is going to roll into an actual legendary Ingram or a legendary item was good. So I averaged one item every, what, 2 or 3 hours or so, if it was okay, maybe even 4 hours. At no point am I just overdoing it and I'm just completely blessed and God has given me the gift of legendary items. The Cryptarch has been frustrating to a lot of people because a lot of people are complaining and crying, oh, I don't get any gear, I don't get any loot, oh my god, that's not purple, that's blue. I think, and just hands down, you guys may hate me, but listen to what I'm saying. I think the most appealing part about this game is the Cryptarch. I think the fact that you get the random drops and the position to actually fail from getting your legendary is what makes this game so exciting. The gambling aspect. You look at games like Call of Duty. What has made it stand out besides the other games out there? It's kill streaks. It feels good to get rewards. It feels good to grind and earn streaks, and those streaks turn into something else, and you get better. That's what made that entire franchise what it is the kill streaks alone. That's what separates it from other games. The gambling aspect is so rewarding. That's why people play things and farm hundreds of hours in Diablo. Now, if you eliminate the chance of failure from this, I think they will really kill their game. They're going to lose a lot of people if they fix the Cryptarch. So let's skip 5 months down the line, 4 months down the line. Now every legendary that just falls on the ground, every Ingram is a guaranteed legendary and possibly an exotic. What's the point of even having a Cryptarch at that point? Why do you even need to identify them? Can't they just drop already identified legendaries on the ground? What's the point of having the Cryptarch? You lose the gambling feature. At this point, everybody's going to have a shotgun they like. Everybody's going to have whatever, because they all have base damage and they don't have, you know, extra special rolls or different abilities or different base damages or anything. You're going to have every type of legendary you want in the next 2 weeks. 4 months down the line, there's nothing else. There's no gambling. I think the fact that the way they had it first actually extends the life of their game because you have the chance of failure. I used to play a game, an MMO called Night Online. Not only was it awesome when you got a rare drop from a boss, but you also had to upgrade that item between level 1 and 10. 10 was just unheard of. 9 was insane, super valuable. 8 was about one of the higher tier areas. Every time you tried to upgrade that item, you had the chance of burning it. And basically what that meant, it destroyed it. All the materials you used to upgrade it and the item itself could be lost. Everything you worked for could be lost. But you still gambled for it because you wanted something big. The moment they remove the Cryptarch or make it so that it's guaranteed legendaries is the moment that this game is pretty much going to be dead. So I truly feel that they made a mistake with farming. I feel like if they actually increase the chance of legendary drops and make sure that every legendary is a legendary, they're shooting themselves in the foot. The game is just GG. No re. It's over. So if they're just going to amp it up so that, you know, it's a 50-50 chance it could be a legendary or blue or something like that, I can understand that. There's still a chance for failure. It's still going to be rewarding when you get that good item. Whatever. I've put in 40+ hours into farming already. Got 0 exotics. I've played 5 hours of Crucible. Got a Monte Carlo. The random drops. The other thing I need to address with the Crucible. Now, a lot of people do not like this idea. What you need to do is think about the alternative. What most people have been suggesting, even I did, was, you know, most people are complaining of the people that go, like me, that go 35-5, and then we see a guy go 1-13 and get a legendary or an exotic. It's frustrating when you do well, you were the reason you guys won, or you impacted it the most, and you got nothing from it. It's frustrating. I get it. But look at the alternative. What if the top 3 players every game got legendaries or exotics? Like a guaranteed Ingram drop, and then it was random after that. Which is doable. I wouldn't be too upset about it. But most control games, 15 minutes out of your day, you can get 3 or 4 of those done in an hour. If you got a guaranteed drop every time you're in the top 3, great. The top 3 players are going to benefit extremely well. And just think of those great players. There are always going to be the great players and the bad players. There's got to be somebody in first and somebody in last. Last players should not be, you know, dealt and have to deal with consequences of not getting random loot. I mean, I think random loot has to be there because it's not fair. Just face it. Everybody's good at some things. Everybody's bad at some things. And not everybody's gifted at video games. But do you think they should have to suffer and not get dropped simply because they perform well because they're just not good enough? Is that the kind of world we live in? No, it needs to be random in Crucible. So the way I look at it, I understand if you get the top player to a guaranteed Ingram and everything after that's random. I don't care. A lot of people are complaining about that. A lot of people are complaining about the blues they get from the Cryptarch. I think that's making the life cycle extend. I think it adds to the appeal. The identifying the risk of losing is what makes the gambling aspect so good. And the fact that they've removed farming, one of the top 3 ways to play the game, has really hurt themselves. I think they're taking steps back, and I think they're doing it because the community is pressuring them, and the community doesn't or hasn't spent enough time thinking of the actual outcomes. And I think it's going to get to the point where it's too late, and people realize, well, shit, maybe we should bring back those farming methods. Or what am I going to do now? Just the same strikes over and over again? The loot cave was better than this. It's the same damn thing. So those people that couldn't pull themselves to do the loot cave and do the repetition and the constant, recycling of the same missions, you're going to have the same thing with strikes soon. How's it any different? That's just my part, guys. Think about what you guys are fighting for and fighting against before you realize it. Think about the fact there's other players out there that aren't as gifted as you may be. They deserve drops too. And above all, just remember that this is a community and it's not all about exactly what you want. So hopefully you've learned something from this video. Hopefully you've appreciated this video. Do me a favor, leave me feedback down in the comment section below. Tell me if you've learned anything from this. Tell me what your thoughts were before and maybe even after this commentary. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully you take some of this away with you and can understand what farming is now. A lot of console players are just unaware of this type of thing, but it's fully acceptable for this type of game. And just share your knowledge with me and your feelings about it. Take care, guys.